Welcome to class, soulmates. So for us to begin, I'm going to mark a border line of 1/2 inch, and I'm also going to mark a border line of same 1/2 inch on the other side. Okay, so we'll go over to taking our measurements. I have my round waist measurements, my round hip, the length from waist to hip. Okay, so from here I'm going to measure my round hip divide by 4, which is going to be the crotch depth, and I'm going to minus 1 inch. You can see how I placed my tape, minus 1 inch for the band. Okay, this is the crotch depth, round hip divide by 4, and I'll mark it right round to form a box. Assuming my round hip is 40, I'm going to mark 40 divided by 4, and that will give me 10, and I will mark the 10 right round. Remember to minus 1 inch for your band, which is going to make it 9 inch for the crotch depth. Okay, I hope this is understood. Just remove 1 inch from the measuring tape and mark wherever the 10 stops. So on this crotch line, I'm going to extend it out by 2 inches. This 2 inches is gotten your hip, round hip divide by 20 for the front. This is the front that we're drafting. Okay, so I'm going to go up by 1.5 to get my hip length. But if you measure your waist to hip, you can just mark it there. So I went up by 1.5 to get my hip line. Now this is the waistline. I will go in by 1 inch. Though initially I marked 1/2 inch, but I later changed it. Now at this point I'm marking 0.25 out, which is where the crotch line is going to pass, so that it does not become tight on your hip area. 0.25 out at the hip line, and I will connect it this way. Okay, so like I said before, at the waistline I went in by 1 inch, though initially I did 1/2 inch, but I didn't like it. Normally I take 1 inch, so I'm going to also redraw it, even though I've marked this already. So once you do this, you can now turn over and make sure it blends so well. We don't want to have any part that is looking somehow. Okay, so I remarked it at 1 inch, and that is what I'm going to be doing now. So you too can do the same, and but though even if you take 1/2 inch, it is still okay. Okay, it's just me that love the 1 inch or 3/4 of an inch. So I'm trying to redraw the lines to meet the 1 inch. But if your waistline is quite big, there's nothing wrong if you start exactly at the straight line. It is still going to give you a very good fit, right? But this is what I love to do. So from this 1 inch that I went in, I'm going to mark my waist circumference divide by 4, and I'll mark it. Normally it's not going to be the same with the hip line, but if your waist is quite big, please use the first line so that you don't run out of measurement, out of place. So I'm going to connect this to the hip line like so. Very simple, right? So we're making progress. Stay tuned and you will love it. I'm trying to blend up here. Remember, this is the front part of the shorts that we're drafting. So I'll divide this into two. The crotch line, I'm going to divide it into two to get a mid point, a midline that will guide us in shaping our trouser or our shorts. So I'll mark that same line and the length of the short. Remember, the short here is knee length. Okay, so where we're marking is the knee length. You can as well mark it before starting. So this is our knee length. this is our knee length. So at the midpoint that I marked, I'm going to roll it down. Please take this one step after another so that when you're drafting yours, it will be so easy for you. Of course, this is self-explanatory. You can watch the video over and over again to understand. Now at the knee, we measured our round knee circumference. I'm going to divide the round knee circumference into 4, right? Into 4, just to make it easy. First you divide into 2 for front and back, and then you divide the front into 2 again. So it's better you just divide it into 4, mark one part on the left hand side, mark the other on the left hand side, and then connect it to your crotch extension. I hope this is well understood. Please, if you appreciate this video, give it a thumbs up, right? Say in the comment section if you do not understand so much, and I'm going to explain more to you. And if you do understand, please give this video a thumbs up and appreciate it. So I've connected it this way to the hip line also. Then at this point, I'm going to come down by 1 inch at the waistline. I'm coming down by 1 inch and connecting it to the side like this. Okay, just connecting it so that the waistline will not be having some smile lines at the front. So I'm just going to cut it out. We're done for the front. So very easy and straightforward. In 5 minutes you're done with this. So grab your scissors and we cut. Okay, like I said before, if this video is making sense to you, please kindly give it a thumbs up, appreciate it. You can share it with your friends, watch over and over again. I need someone to practice this. It's not difficult, it's something that we can all do. All right, so for the back, we are going to place on another paper and cut for the back. So the back, I'm going to give some allowance at the upper part, like 1.5 to 2 inches, and then by the side 2 inches also, right? Then hold it down. Now I'm going to extend some lines. I will extend the hip line, the crotch line, the waist line, the knee line. As you can see, I've extended every line. Now from this line at the hip area, at the crotch area, I'm going to go in by half an inch, right? From that half an inch, I'll take my hip circumference, divide by 4. I hope this is understood. Take it again. From that part, I'm going to go in by half an inch, and then take my hip circumference, divide by 4, and so from there I will mark. Now from this line also, I'm going to go straight to the waistline. You can decide to slant, but then I did not slant. Okay, I just took it straight and it's fine. You can see where it is. So I'll just connect it while raising it up by 1.5 inch. Raise it up by 1.5 inch. And from there, I'm going to mark my hip line for my waistline for the back, which is most likely going to stop at the same line, but for the back we're going to add that of 1 inch. So we're going to add extra 1 inch for the back. That the front, I do not add that at the front. Okay, so from the 1.5 inch up, we're going to connect like this to the waistline. So at the side, both the front and the back are supposed to meet together. Okay, this is making a whole lot of sense. At the hip also, I'm going to mark my hip circumference, divide by 4 from the line at the back, from the line for the back. Okay, and I'm going to connect it this way. Please, If possible, use a different marker for the back so that you don't make a mistake. I'm marking this on top of the front paper, but I'm going to trace it once we are done. So from this line for the back, that is where we're going to mark our crotch extension for the back, 4 inches, which is hip circumference divide by 10 rather, divide by 10. So we're going out by 0.25 as we did for the front. Remember the line for the back, right? Remember the line for the back and the line for the front are separate. I should have used a different color to mark it so that it will be so visible. But then if you follow it carefully, you will notice where the difference is. This is line for the back, 0.25 out. And then I'm going to blend it properly. This is just exactly what we did for the front, right? So don't panic about marking it on top of the paper for the front. We're just going to trace it out before transferring to our fabric. This is the beauty of using a pattern paper, so that you will see what you're doing first and then transfer to your fabric. But you can actually also cut directly on the fabric, but this is for us all to understand. All right, so for the back at the knee line, we're going to add half an inch at the two sides, half an inch. This is for the back um back pattern to be wider than the front, because we have more flesh behind than the front. Okay, so add half an inch and then connect it to your crotch extension for the back, and also connect this to the sides, to the hip line at the back. Connect to the hip line at the back like this. You can see I'm not using so much a curvy curve, but I'm not making it so curvy. You can also use a straight line to do it, but the difference is not much. So if the person is kind of straight, you can just use a straight line. If the person is kind of curvy, you can just use a curvy line to accommodate some flesh. All right, so it still does not make any much difference. So this is what we have for our pattern. I'm going to divide this waistline into two to get our midpoint for the dart intake. 1 inch for the dart intake, 5 inches for the length, half an inch on both sides, half an inch on both sides. Okay, like we all know, this is pattern for a short knee length, yes, knicker, short knicker, whatever it is, it's right. Okay, this is the pattern for it, and this is the tracing wheel. We're going to trace all the lines that we're not able to show on the back side. We're going to trace it out so that when we remove the front pattern, we're just going to use our pencil and trace everything out. So in the next video that will be dropping, we are going to be sewing this. While sewing, we may not just sew only the shorts, we may extend it to form a trouser and we sew it. So if you want to just sew only the shorts, all you have to do is just take this pattern, place on your fabric, add your seam allowance because there's no seam allowance here, and we are good to go. I hope this makes so much sense to you. Please, if it does, subscribe, like, share, make a comment, give it a thumbs up, ask a question, and you will receive an answer. So I'm showing you how to cut this pattern, how to cut. This pattern is so beautiful, it fits so well. it fits so well. So for this, I'm going to remove, you can see that the line for the back and the line for the front are not entirely the same. So this is me cutting out the back. You can see how it is so beautiful. Thank you for watching. Bye.